work with me on this, okay?
Makes sense, though, please.
No, I'm going to help you so much tonight. So at the end of the day...
Good luck with that.
Anna Navarro joined Abby Phillip on her CNN show with two of the biggest MAGA nutballs in America, maybe in the world, Kevin O'Leary and Ben Ferguson. And they're talking about the Epstein saga, Donald Trump's involvement in it, new revelations and new emails about Donald Trump's involvement with Epstein. And things get fairly heated. It's a hot button topic. I want to take a look at the clip from this episode of Abby Phillip's CNN show. Anna Navarro, Ben Ferguson, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, and all the rest. And then I want to have my opinions that I add. And then I want to know what you think in the comments. Let's check it out.
Donald Trump has been trying for months to keep the Epstein files hidden. And tonight we are starting to understand exactly why. A new trove of the sex traffickers' emails show many mention President Trump. In 2011, Epstein wrote to his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump." He goes on to say that a victim spent hours with Trump at Epstein's home. Republicans argue that the redacted name was Virginia Giuffre, who did not accuse Trump of wrongdoing, calling it a fake narrative. In another email from 2019, Epstein says that Trump, quote, "knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." In 2018, after news broke of Michael Cohen implicating Trump in a hush money scheme, Epstein wrote that he knew, quote, "how dirty Donald is." And now Democrats in the House Oversight Committee released the emails, which the White House says don't prove anything.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever.
And I should note that we are about to see Trump live as he signs the bill that will end the government shutdown. And it's safe to say he will face questions, although the question remains whether or not he actually answers them. Now, to these Epstein files, this is one of the things that it seems like the Trump administration has been concerned about. Otherwise, they wouldn't be working so hard, convening a Situation Room meeting today in order to deal with it. But what do you think, Charles, that it does show? Because, I think his name is there.
Absolutely.
But obviously there's no hard proof of any actual wrongdoing.
In a different world, it's exactly what you just said. There's no proof that he's committed a crime. Nobody's accused him of committing a crime. There's just an association in the emails that we've seen so far. Now, there is a question about whether or not, if you knew something was happening, you knew something was untoward, you knew about it, whether or not you had a moral duty to report that to someone or not. Now, there is a question about that. But because Donald Trump is acting like a thief in church and panicking about this and acting like a guilty person, it makes people perk up and say, what is this about? Why are you behaving this way about these files if there is nothing in it that would implicate you in a negative way and harm you politically or otherwise? Because he's acting that way, I think more people are interested in this. More people look at this and say, we want all of these files released because you are behaving like a person who's guilty.
Ben?
I wish you guys gave this much thought and much obsession over this when Joe Biden was president. I wish you were asking for this much transparency when it wasn't about attacking the president of the United States of America and to score political points. I wish you guys cared about the victims as much as you care about trying to attack Donald Trump. When CNN's own reporting says, and I quote, "The woman who is the survivor literally accused Democrats, not Republicans, of hiding her name because she had not alleged Trump to have done anything wrong."
You're talking about Virginia Giuffre.
Correct.
Who we just talked about.
And my point is,
she died by, just to be clear, she died by suicide.
But she accused Democrats when she was alive. Her words of hiding her name because she had not alleged Trump to have done anything wrong. That is how sick and partisan this has become. You guys didn't care about the victims. You didn't care about anything else. And now you're saying, well, maybe Donald Trump knew of a crime and maybe didn't report it. That's just straight up slander and libel.
No, it's not slander and libel.
You're telling the. You just said that the president.
I let you finish.
Watched a crime.
You turn that glove. Turn that glove inside out.
Can I just clear one thing up because I think this is important. I don't want this misinformation to be out there. When Virginia Giuffre said that Trump had not done anything wrong, she was not accusing, the Republicans accused Democrats of withholding her name for that reason. She just separately said that she did not see Trump do anything untoward. That's
the quote. And so I go back to the point he made, which is that he said,
because I don't want people to think that it was that she was responding to Democrats, which she was not. But go ahead.
Here's the thing. First of all, Joe Biden was not on the plane. He was not at the island. Well, there you go, jump to another subject. Was not on the plane, was not there. Everybody say, well, Joe Biden didn't do whatever. The Democrats were never saying, don't release. The Republicans now are saying, don't release.
That's not true. I've said release it.
I'm sorry.
I say consistent. I have no problem release it. Release all of it as long as you protect
ironically, the reason this is such an issue right now is because Republicans campaigned on it and made it a big issue. Frankly, shame on the Biden DOJ for not having been more proactive.
Thank you.
And thank you to the Republicans, the manosphere, all of the blogosphere, the Republican right wing who spent the campaign making this into a big issue.
And I'd say now, release it. As long as you protect the victims, release it.
But what you said,
Ben Ferguson is such a disingenuous tool. I kind of enjoy watching the Ben Fergusons and the Scott Jennings squirm as they try and make this absolute baloney sound reasonable, right? First thing pops out of his mouth when he opens it is a what about Joe Biden? And then shortly thereafter, he works about, what about Bill Clinton? The argument he seems to be making, Ben Ferguson seems to be making here, is that Donald Trump doesn't care one way or the other, has nothing to hide. He's only doing what Joe Biden did. And if it's so important, why didn't Joe Biden do it? Of course, baking in there that this is an issue of Democrats versus Republicans, when it's really been Republicans all along that have been the only ones obstructing visibility into this, right? Because they feel like it threatens their guy, Donald Trump. Gee, connect those dots, right? And, what about Joe Biden? Well, Joe Biden wasn't in the flight logs. Joe Biden wasn't in pictures with Epstein. Joe Biden hasn't said grab him by the pussy, right? I mean, it's Joe Biden is not Donald Trump. So, I mean, it's pretty absurd to watch him. He looks like he's in fight or flight there. Look at those eyes. They're locked on. He looks like a cornered rat to me.
About the victims. Sorry,
go ahead.
No one cares about the victims. The whole exercise.
The Democratic Party did not care about Jeffrey Epstein until it was politically expedient to go after Donald Trump. Which is why we started the show. The government just got unshut down, and we're like, Jeffrey Epstein.
Wait a minute. You can say it over and over again. That's a crazy, absurd talking point, and I don't even know what the point of you going in that direction is. Everybody here cares about the victims. That's why we're going down this avenue to expose what went on and what is covered up. And to say this, wait. You said it 3 times. To say this is about the Democrats not taking action.
You didn't do anything.
Wait a minute. This administration came out with Pam Bondi, paraded her out and said, the file is on my desk and I'm going to open it to all of you. Kash Patel, same thing. Nothing is coming out.
A lot's come out. That's not true.
I'm sorry.
A lot has come out.
Yeah, because Democrats are pulling it out and Republicans are pulling it out. He who doth protest too much has something to hide.
Stacey, I want to get you on this because I think this is important. A few months ago, the Deputy Attorney General interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes.
She said this when asked, well, in the context of this interview about Donald Trump. Listen to what she said.
I think they were friendly, like people are in social settings. I don't think they were close friends, or I certainly never witnessed the president in any of, I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance.
So, okay, she just said that.
Yeah.
She's been moved to a lower security prison.
Yes.
Based on the emails that presumptively the DOJ has in their possessions, that would be a lie.
It looks like a flat out lie. So there's no secret that she's seeking a pardon. Todd Blanche can now fly back to Texas in the lower security prison she's been moved in and ask her a very key question that came out from the emails today, which we showed at the beginning of the show, which is from Epstein. Of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Stop what? Maybe Todd Blanche should march back to Ghislaine, who is willing to speak with him, she says, and so do her lawyers, and ask him, what did Trump ask to have stopped?
Can I just say this? Look, let's put this in context and think about when this was happening. Everybody knew, all of those men, all of those powerful men that would attend the Epstein dinners, that would go to his house, that he would hang out with in Mar-a-Lago or in Palm Beach, they all knew what he was doing. Donald Trump knew what Epstein was doing. He has said so. He has said, Bill Clinton knew what, I think everybody knew what he was doing. And it was a different time in America. Let's remember this was before the Me Too movement. Listen, Alex Acosta, who was the U.S. attorney in Southern Florida that gave Epstein the sweetheart deal in 2008, was confirmed and vetted for labor secretary under Trump's first term. He was, and then this wasn't a huge issue, as it should have been. The Me Too movement was in 2017. The expose in the Miami Herald by Julie K. Brown, Perversion of Justice, was in 2018. That put the heat right back on Jeffrey Epstein. But before that, people knowing that he had already served time under that sweetheart deal were still hanging out with him. And I'll tell you what I think
Donald Trump, serious question, was Donald Trump hanging out with him after he served time?
They actually had a falling out over a real estate deal. And Jeffrey Epstein always thought...
Hold on, simple question. Did they hang out after he went to prison? The answer is no.
Okay, did they hang out enough for Donald Trump to know that Jeffrey Epstein was with
enough that he clearly says a creep and kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago?
But
I agree. He found out and got rid of him.
The guy says that he wasn't a member of Mar-a-Lago.
Hold on, guys.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Are you going to trust the pedophile or are you going to trust Donald Trump?
I don't trust either of those two guys.
That's on you. But I mean, you can't.
Are you going to trust Donald Trump or are you going to trust the pedophile? You know, the bottom line to me is I think it's really good of Ana Navarro there to sort of lay out the timeline. And I think it's an excellent point also by Ana Navarro that everybody knew. It's like with Weinstein. Everybody knew. Come on. Everybody knew. And sure, Bill Clinton. Oh, I didn't know. Come on. Everybody knew. I didn't know. But I mean, I wasn't running in those circles. Everybody who came in contact with Jeffrey Epstein knew what was going on. Absolutely. And in terms of who you're going to trust, none of them. They're all liars. Donald Trump is possibly the biggest liar of our modern age. And we know that Jeffrey Epstein was a manipulator and a blackmail artist and a liar. And so is Maxwell. And so is Ben Ferguson. Come on. It's like these people, the fact that we're coming down to like, well, now we need to go back. Now we send the lawyer back to talk to Maxwell. The lawyer's Trump's guy. None of these people are trustworthy. I'm not talking about little lies and political lies and spin. I am talking about pathological, sociopathic lying. You can't trust anything any of these people say. And what's amazing to me is the media continues to report on Trump said, like, well, Trump said he's going to do this. What? Why? Why report on that? He might not. There's no consistency to what he says being true or not true. It's just as likely to be true as it is to be completely made up from whole cloth.
Can't have it both ways.
Because Donald Trump has never lied before.
Guys, give me 1 second.
Donald Trump has never lied before.
That traffic girls, young
and a guy who boasted about sexual assault, and a guy who's been convicted of 34 counts.
No one can hear you. No one can hear you. Okay, that's why I'm asking you to settle down. Kevin is sitting here like a church mouse in the corner.
No, I love chaos. I love chaos.
Kevin, listen.
I love it. I love chaos.
The White House, you're a smart guy. The White House, they convene a Situation Room meeting. They bring Lauren Boebert over to the White House to try to strong-arm her into not voting to release the Epstein files. If this is a nothing burger, as Ben is suggesting, why are they acting so aggressively to shut this whole thing down? Why not say, actually, let's release the Epstein files. You're not going to find anything in here that incriminates the president.
So let's just look at facts, because, I mean, everybody has a political position on this. Epstein's still dead tonight, still dead. All the people that have been really hurt by this actually were caught lying in a scandal, including a member of the royal family who was stripped of his titles, all that.
Say that again? All the people that were really hurt?
Yeah.
The people that were really hurt are the women, Kevin.
Yeah, and I'm
the
not
young girls.
I don't think having
who want
sex,
closure and want truth and want transparency.
Finish, or are you got something more to say?
The people hurt is not Prince Andrew.
That's
hold on. But that's ridiculous for you to say that the person hurt is Prince Andrew.
Kevin, is that what you were?
I'm trying to finish a thought. Work with me on this, okay?
Make sense though, please.
No, I'm going to help you so much tonight. So at the end of the day,
good luck with that.
What we care about here is don't have sex with young girls. That's bad. If you did that,
just to be clear, having sex with young girls is not
illegal.
Sex. It is rape.
And if you did it, you should go to jail. Okay? Insinuating this on everybody, that anybody had anything to do with Epstein, that everybody involved had sex with young girls, is a falsehood. Now, those that did it, by the time this is over, are screwed. And they should be screwed. And there are victims. But at the end of the day, so much of this, as you've just seen here tonight, is completely political.
Kevin,
this is not the first time Kevin O'Leary has talked about Jeffrey Epstein, and he said this the last time too. Jeffrey Epstein is dead, still dead, which I've never quite understood. That's to me, that's shorthand for drop it. The guy's dead, right? Can't we put this behind us? That's not the point at all, and I don't agree with Abby Phillip that Kevin O'Leary is a smart guy, but he should be smart enough to understand this. The point is about accountability. And I think Kevin O'Leary really reveals the sort of billionaire, his billionaire, he's not a billionaire, 400 millionaire, sorry, true colors when he says, we think about the people who are the real victims of this, Prince Andrew, blah, 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 right? And he immediately thinks of the air quotes, great men who have been brought down by this, air quotes, political, haymaking around this, air quotes, scandal. And, I think Anna Navarro is right to hold his feet to the fire for that. Another thing that I watched recently is somebody making the point that when we talk about this, and Abby Phillip touched on this, when we talk about this as young women or underage girls, it's a kind of whitewashing. It's rape. So if you go to the guy's private island and you have sex with a 14-year-old girl that this guy has groomed and trafficked, you have raped that girl. That's what that is. And that victim might be a young woman or an underage girl or a young girl, but all of those terms, and I understand that it's partly personal, because to say rape is so sharp and painful itself that you're trying to make it easier for yourself to talk about. I certainly have done that. It's a harsh, sharp word, rape. But that is what it is, and I think Abby Phillip was right to point that out. And this isn't about the powerful men that are used to skating away, having done whatever they want. And, hey, guys, we can do whatever we want. Why not this time? It's like Bin Salman wondering after Khashoggi, saying, like, what is it about this one? Why this journalist? You're like, why is everybody's panties in a bunch about this guy? That doesn't excuse it any more than Ben Ferguson saying, what about Joe Biden? Joe Biden didn't do anything, as though that somehow excuses Donald Trump from the crimes that it smells like he committed here. They can be in denial. I feel like Kevin O'Leary is a combination of like money blindness. Like if you imagine a horse with blinders on, it's Kevin O'Leary with blinders on, but the blinders are stacks of $100 bills, $1,000 bills. I think it's a bit of that, and it's a bit of like denial. And I would have said naivete, but it's been so long with this subject for now that I think it's just denial. Well, not me. Nobody meant bad by it. And the girls seem to be having a good time. And you're like, oh, yo, yo. And then finally, what is this dude wearing, right? He's got a bolo tie with the scorpion in it. He's got is he a magician? Is he a cowboy? Is he a time-traveling prognosticator from the Old West? This is something, looks like an outfit that somebody from the movie Buckaroo Banzai would be wearing. I just don't understand Kevin O'Leary. He's a guy that obviously has accumulated a lot of money, but clearly thinks that entitles him to think that his opinions are the truth. Anyway, what do we think of all this? There is the layer of it that is the political gamesmanship. Kevin O'Leary's not insane for bringing up the politics of it, but I don't think you can use that to brush away the real subject, which is this is a James Bond villain level cabal of human trafficking, and it was a rape ring, basically, and at a scale that seems to touch an enormous cross-section of the rich and powerful. And you can talk about the people who knew but didn't directly participate in it and didn't do anything to stop it or speak out about it. But you can also point your finger at the Prince Andrews and the people of whom there is photographic evidence that they committed crimes. And those people need to be held accountable. And I don't think stripping his royal titles cuts it. I think a crime was committed and there needs to be criminal prosecution. And yes, I think that's going to shake the foundations of our existing power structures. But man, I can't say I particularly care. I think, people are so tired of being lied to and seeing people pardoned and skate for these egregious crimes. And somehow this Epstein stuff is so heinous and personal feeling that it is the Rubicon that these Republicans have decided it's time to cross for this. And so leaving all of the political gamesmanship and tug of war over it aside for a second, I do hope that some of this stuff comes to light and we have a chance to actually reckon with it as a society and that some people are held accountable. I'm not holding my breath, because in this administration, it seems like malfeasance is rewarded and any attempt at integrity is viciously punished and drummed out. But I do think it's what the fervor is fundamentally about. And I also hope that these victims, who are now adult women, don't just get completely ground up any more than they already have in the gristmill tabloidism of it all. Because, that's a completely unforgiving machine as well, as more details of this come out. Anyway, let me know what you think. This is a hot button topic. People have a lot of different feelings about it one way or the other. Obviously, it's causing a rift in both parties, particularly in MAGA. And, even though these votes have passed, and it's not clear what's going to be redacted as classified. It's not clear what closure we're going to get on any of this. But I want to know what you think in the comments, please.